In the triangle RST, angle T is a right angle, point L lies on RS, point K lies on ST, and LK is parallel to RT. If the length of RT is 72 units, the length of LK is 24 units, and the area of the triangle is 792 units, what is the length of KT in units? So quite a lot to work through. I've already drawn the shell of this. Triangle RTS is a right triangle and T is a right angle, so that's already drawn. Now the key to this question, understanding it, is saying LK is parallel to RT. And then we have to draw then a line parallel to RT, would look like that. Now just to clarify, it says L lies on RS, so L must be over here and K then must be over there. Further, we're given the length of LK is 24. So I'm going to write this as 24 right here. Great. So ultimately, our goal is to figure out the length of KT. So I'm going to call this guy here that we're looking for X. Now, we were given the area of this triangle, the big triangle that is, as 792. Recall that to find the area of a triangle, the formula to use is 1/2 times the base times the height. We already know the area, so I'm going to plug in 792 over here equals 1/2. Now for this triangle, we already know the base, but we don't know the height yet, right? So we can calculate that together. In fact, let me rename the height. I'm just going to call that height of the triangle H. So it'll be 1/2 times the base, which is given to us as 72, times the height that we're looking for. When you do the math here, you'll have 792 equals 36H, and you divide both sides by 36, of course, for a height of 22 units. So we then know that H is 22. That whole length there is 22. I'm going to say H equals 22. Great. So further still, what we need to figure out is X. We are getting closer, but we're not quite there yet. To do this, we're going to need to set up a proportion. And remember, when you have similar triangles, you can set up proportions. Just find which sides are corresponding and make a proportion out of that. So let me highlight something here. We have this little triangle here, KLS, which is also a right triangle. And then we have the bigger one that we already started out with, which is RTS. So those are the two triangles that we're going to be using to set up a proportion. While we are at it, why don't we come up with let's just rename this little piece right here between K and S. Let's just call that Y, just so we don't have too many variables floating everywhere. Now let's set up the proportion. On the big triangle, 72 matches with its long side, so RT over TS in the big one. So RT over the long leg is 22 for the big triangle, the green one. We're going to match that on the little triangle. So I have to start out with 24, which matches with a 72 over Y. We named KSY. So let's cross multiply here and do the math for this. You'll find that, so 72Y equals 22 times 24 is 528. We're going to divide both sides by 72. So we'll find that the Y value we're looking for is equals to 7.33. Repeating. So that means we now have this. So this is 7.33. The question, however, wasn't looking for that. We were looking for TK, which is the X over here. Thankfully, we know the entire length there is 22. We know this is 7.33. So to find TK, we simply subtract 7.33 from 22. And this is going to end up giving us a length of TK, which we renamed to X as 14.6 repeating, like that. That's an acceptable answer, but you should probably round this to 14.7. And that's going to be the end of that question. Boom shakalaka.